Locked from 2025 stars Bill Skarsgård and Anthony Hopkins. And yeah, when I first saw the trailer for this, immediately I was hooked because it's a claustrophobic thriller film. And, you know, when it's Halloween season, I always like to think outside the box. You could say that this movie has enough claustrophobia and enough paranoia to really rub off onto the viewer. So that's why I chose to review Locked right now for Horror Month. I guess the reason I consider Skarsgård in Locked to be a normal sort is because his character in this is one of those no good, deadbeat, immature, cheap grown-ups that, this guy looks like he was trying to make it big as a rapper someday, and his dream failed, and now he's just trying to just score weed and just sleep with any chick that he wants in order to make himself feel good about himself. He's one of those kinds of guys, okay? Now, the reason I went into such specifics is because the suburban town where I live in, that's kind of common. So, yeah, we get to know a little bit about his backstory and who he is, and he does seem kind of, like I said, a bit of a cardboard cutout. Even if you don't know people like this character that Skarsgård is playing, still, you can see how he would fit the mold in a traditional hood film or a traditional film about thugs and criminals. So one day, he's trying to break into this car, and it turns out that this car that he's breaking into is so state-of-the-art and so extreme in its new technology that he can't get out. He even tries to use a gun and shoot his way out, but the bullet ricochets off the window and pierces his skin. He's unbelievably thirsty. He's hungry. Look, the car's remote controlled, okay? So sometimes the guy who's controlling the car can make it super duper cold, sometimes super duper hot. And because he can't get out for the life of him, he will poop and pee in different spots. So it turns out that the dude whose car he broke into is this super rich guy who's Anthony Hopkins, and the majority of the film with what that features Hopkins is just him over the speakers in the car. So we don't really get to see him until like the last act of the film, which is fine. It just makes his presence more sinister. And you really wonder why did he choose Skarsgård? Or is Skarsgård just simply a random guy in the wrong place at the wrong time? So learning more about Hopkins' backstory, his whole motive behind trying to pretty much destroy Skarsgård, very, very interesting stuff. And as I said, Skarsgård being a cardboard cutout, that was a good move. Here's why, okay? If Skarsgård was more layered and more fleshed out, more original, more specific in terms of exactly who he is as a person, then the movie, I'm sure it would have been fine, but there may have been a little bit less relatability there. By making Skarsgård more broad, more generic, it really helps the viewer kind of place themselves in said film. And because the viewer is so immersed into the film, it's easy to do when there's just a tiny location like a car. We kind of see ourselves kind of in his shoes. And even if there is some sort of ex-con out there who happens to watch the film Locked, then they can relate even more to the viewer themselves. I'm not like Bill Skarsgård's character at all, but because I'm familiar with people like that, and I've seen people like that before where I live, having that kind of personal familiarity and that prior knowledge of those things, having that placed in with Bill Skarsgård in this film, it did help, I thought, at least. The acting in this is really, really good. I really liked Anthony Hopkins. He was kind of an obvious one for being super duper great, even though the movie is mostly him, like just hearing his voice. Still really, really good. And yeah, I knew that Skarsgård did have it in him to deliver a really, really good performance, but you know, as I said, how often has he ever played just a normal guy? Well, him in this one, kind of a normal sort of a two-bit thug. I really liked the way that he was able to take this cardboard cutout, make him kind of relatable, and make him kind of like someone sympathetic. I mean, like he learns his lesson. He really it changes for the better in the film, and yeah, I thought I like things like that really make this film Locked a very underrated film. I do think that Locked from 2025 will go down as probably the most underrated film of the year. Is it a great film? No, definitely not. There were flaws, definitely, but I just didn't think that those said flaws were enough to flip my thumb downwards. My thumb still stayed afloat, still stayed up, and yeah, I do feel like giving Locked from 2025 3 stars out of 4. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time.